Hi, I'm Aurelia Dogadio, and today I'm going to be talking about the rhetoric of beauty. I'm going to touch up on internal beauty, external beauty, the effect that social media has on our standard of beauty, really. And also, this speech is directed to women to realize that we can't be comparing ourselves to these people online, because a good picture doesn't mean a good life. You don't know these people in real life. They could be horrible people, but just because they fit the standard doesn't mean they should be put up on a pedestal. And I hope that this speech makes at least somebody realize that. So to start off, I'm going to read off the definition of beauty. So beauty is defined by the combination of qualities such as shape, color, form that pleases the aesthetic senses, especially the sight. So, right off the bat, just by the definition, it's talking about shape and color and physical beauty. We have this stereotypical beauty because of Instagram. On Instagram, we see these thin, beautiful women. A lot of the time, they're white, and I feel like that definitely discourages all these other people who are people of color, people who are disabled, all these other people who don't fit that criteria, which is literally mostly everybody else in the world. But that definitely has an effect on everybody. I was in middle school when I first got Instagram. I was in 7th grade. You know, we grow up looking at Instagram and seeing this and being like brainwashed by this idea of beauty without kind of realizing it until later. And this standard of beauty not only affects us, but like it does with guys too. Like, guys expect you to look like this. They expect you to be like all these people on Instagram, but you're not. And I feel like that really messes everybody up, and especially a girl, because you're not what a guy wants. And in middle school, that might seem like the biggest problem ever. And that's when these problems start coming into play, like depression, suicide, eating disorders. And that's what I want to touch up on, that 9% of the world's population, or 28.8 million people in the world, will have an eating disorder throughout their lifetime. That is a lot of people, and that is a big reason as to why we just can't be comparing ourselves to this standard of beauty on Instagram online, because it's fake. It's just not real. It's not realistic. And not only does Instagram have the influence to make you feel like this is a standard of beauty, like you have to look like this, but it also where you grow up influences your standard of beauty. For example, myself, I grew up in West Jordan, Utah, like all my life. I went to elementary to a predominantly white school. I was like maybe one out of like 3 brown kids in like my class throughout elementary. If that, sometimes I'd be the only one. And although I never felt ugly because of my skin color, I did start to feel that I would compare like my features with all my other like white friends, because in my friend group, like all my friends had very thin lips, and I didn't necessarily look like that. And I just remember thinking that I was just like, why don't I have lips like that? Like, I wish I had really small lips like that. And when you're little, you just want to be like your friends. So, I mean, that's understandable. And it wasn't until I got to middle school that I understood, like, it's okay. I don't have to look like these people. In middle school, there's just all these other people that actually look like you. There's a bigger variety. There's more people. There's a lot of Hispanic people. So I felt more comfortable. I felt like I was part of a group or something like that. And lately, in these past years, I feel that the standard of beauty is changing, especially on Instagram. Although I feel like we will always have that standard of beauty of like the Instagram model, I feel like now we are definitely embracing being plus sized. And you're beautiful if you're plus sized. You're beautiful if you're black. You're beautiful if you're Latino, if you're disabled. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be white and blonde hair, blue eyes to be beautiful. Although for a while I feel like we did feel that way. And it's nice to see that all these influencers are shifting that. It's nice because there's so many people in the world, and you can be catered by your standard of beauty by all these creators that are on Instagram, and you can be seen through them. You can be felt like you're involved because of these people. Now, we can talk about internal beauty now. This year, as we all know, it was a crazy year, and this year definitely made me realize that we need to stop glorifying all of these Instagram creators, because although they are beautiful, many are beautiful. I follow many, like they could be travel bloggers, they can just have cute outfits, whatever. But this year made me realize that although you can be beautiful, you can have nice things, all these materialistic things, doesn't mean you are a good person. For example, with the situation with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Vanessa Guillen, all these other colored people that were killed with no justification. And there's so many creators on the app that didn't talk about it, and there's so many that did. There's so many that advocated, that were spreading information, that were signing and spreading out like links of the petitions to sign to make sure that our voices were heard. And not everybody did that, and I feel like that's what makes you realize that you can be pretty but on the outside, but if you're not doing the most to help other people, then you're not beautiful on the inside. And that kind of makes you realize that we're all the same. Just because you have followers on Instagram doesn't mean you're better than me, because I care for people. There's other people who care for people. And the message really for this, again, is just to have these women realize that we can be beautiful. We are beautiful. And just because we don't have a lot of followers doesn't mean we aren't beautiful. Followers really don't mean that much, although at times we think we do. Like I said, caring for other people is beautiful. There's so many creators that didn't spread awareness, and that makes me set them apart from being beautiful on the outside and on the inside. And beauty will fade, but being a good person and caring for your neighbor, for someone across the world, will never be out of style, and that will always be beautiful.